The demonstration for the Australian version of that add-on. It's exactly the same. The only difference between the Australian version and the international version is that the Australian version actually takes into account the GST. So after you subscribe to the add-on, you come here and you select Full-Scale Feaso Australia, and you will have an menu open on your right, and you just click on Create Sheets. It takes a few seconds before the sheets are created, and you will start here, which is again your all your cost codes. So it has a sample of all these cost codes, which are very common in Australia, and these are the ones that I personally use in all my developments in the past. And it's like a list, and the reason I supply this list is because it actually acts as a checklist, so that when you're doing a feasibility, you're making sure that you haven't forgotten about anything. So you've got the dashboard. Again, there's a project timeline that you can set up. These are the different stages on your left, and you can you don't have to change any of the start dates. All you got to do is make sure that you put in the dates, and the ones that are blue are all your input cells. That means that they can be edited. Some of these input cells may have a formula in them, which basically means that you can actually override that formula if you wanted to. And it's only that one-off thing where when you override it, you're going to substitute that with another date if you wanted to. Then we've got the property stats, which talks about the gross site area, the permeable area, the actual coverage area, and so on. You can do these calculations right here. And again, all add-ons actually come with full in-depth detail where I go into every section, explain you what everything is, the theory behind it, and also the application behind it. So we've got the GST details that come here, land finance, what are you planning, what your LVR is going to be, and your construction finance, what your LVR is going to be, or the interest rate is going to be, and the cost of developer's equity if you want to put those details in there, and a whole lot of different hurdle rates for your net present value calculation, or your target development margin, or your entrepreneurial risk margin, and so on. And also your sensitivity analysis, where if you want to run a sensitivity scenario on what if the sales go up by 5% and the costs go up by 10%, or the sales fall down by 5%, 10%, and so on. So whatever increment you want them to increase or decrease, you put in those values right here to be able to do a sensitivity analysis. Now, in your built area analysis, it's basically, it goes up to 20, but then you could have the similar size units, maybe more than one of each. So you can select the quantity. You can select if you want to go with an option where you want to calculate the construction cost based on a square meter rate, that is for every individual area, or you want to go with this average square meter rate, or you want to go with a per unit rate. And all those things can be set up here. And the market value again also is calculated the same way, where you can select a per unit rate. So let's say you say, I know that townhouses or apartments in XYZ area are selling for $600,000 each. So you can go with that, or if you've been able to figure out the square meter rate that they are going for, you can put that in there as well. These feasibilities are capable of doing a commercial and a mixed-use development costing as well, because you can actually capitalize the rent and whatever, and get to the value for your mixed-use or retail premises or commercial premises in that as well. Once you've done that, you move into the budget section, and in the budget section, all these details are already in there. They come with some extra columns as compared to the international version, where you've got the GST amount or the ex-GST amount, and those columns are actually missing in the international version. And you select your S-curve, or whether or not it's going to be in an S-curve or a straight line. Then you select the month start and the month finish date. And these orange cells basically tell you, based on the timeline that you already set up, whether you've selected a particular stage or the timeline, that whether or not it is correct. So if it's not correct, it'll give you an error over here. So there's it works like a check. And all these columns are all blank. You don't really have to worry about any of this calculation, because all that gets done in the cloud. And after you are ready, up until the construction setting, up until this point, once you're ready, you click on the update values. It will take all the input cells that you put in for all your costs. So if there was some site works that you did, and you plan them to be to take place in the 17th month, and they'll only occur once. Or if there's something that actually occurs over a period of time, so say for example site safety holding $5,000, and we've got it starts in the month 17 and goes on for 9 months, so then it actually distributes it based on your S-curve that you've selected with the steepness of that S-curve, whether it's flat, steep, moderate, and so on. Once you've done that and you press your update values, all your calculation for your construction, they will take place. So you can minimize this and see that all these columns have now been populated. And once that is done and you're happy with your total construction finance, the amount that you'll be able to borrow, which is equal to the based on your TDC and the LVR that you've selected in your dashboard. Once you've done that, you just press your calculate construction interest. Once the construction interest is calculated, it is done on the basis of that the developer equity would always go in first, and the bank will lend you money after they've actually exhausted your equity first, based on your LVR. So once all that is done, you'll see that the calculation will pop up here in a second. Again, because this has so many cells and the sheet actually accommodates up to 60 months. So it goes up to 59, but it starts from 0. So including 0, it goes up to 60 months of calculation. So even if your development takes 24 months or 3 years old, but that's normally not the case in case of small and medium-sized developments. This would actually this sheet is more than capable of handling a development that size. So in construction finance, you don't really need to do anything. You only need to put in 2 values right here, and most of the values you've already done. All you need to do is put in these cost codes that you want and the values against them. What I usually do is delete these values and put in my own values, but I leave them there because it just acts as a checklist for me of the things so that I don't forget something when I'm actually doing a feasibility. So because it has more or less covered almost all my developments so far. So every cost code that I would have come across has been allocated and added to a stage. Also, there is on the left, there's a stage running which you can select. And based on that stage, it'll also give you, instead of, not only does it give you the monthly cash flow, it also gives you cash flow by stages if you go and select them. And then your project related site value also comes in. So in here, once you've done your calculation and you press the calculate construction interest, that is the final calculation that you need to do. Everything else, all of these blue tabs are all your reports. So you can go in there, get a project related site value that all Australian valuers would do on a development project, and it is done with the exact same principle. They will not they will question the integrity of it, but this is exactly how it's done. And the reason it's there in this feasibility is so that if that value comes in a little bit lower, you need to look at your costs and everything that you're going to allow for in the project, and be careful because your LVR will depend on that value. You've got your bank summary, and then you've got your developer summary. The bank summary will break down all of your developer's equity contribution based on different stages of your development, and it'll give you all the costs, development costs, all your finance costs would be there, your GST liability, and then show you the development margin on the cost, and give you the sensitivity analysis based on, say, if your development profit on a normal scenario, which you've done, is 2120. What happens when the sales fall, the sales value that you've allowed in your feasibility falls by 5% or 10%, and the costs at the same time go up by 5% and 10%. What does that look like? And if your worst case scenario is still a positive, that's the scenario, that's the development that you should consider doing, because if it gives you the number that you want right here, and your worst case scenario is still negative, that means you might not make as much money as you'd like to if something was to go wrong, but you won't lose any money in the development either. So you've got development margin on cost, and then you've got return on equity calculation as a sensitivity analysis as well. So it takes care of all the major calculations, your NPV, your equity, your internal rate of return, any calculation that you can think of, your equity multiple, it's got the maximum debt, your cost of equity, your weighted average cost of capital, interest coverage ratio, your cash flow coverage ratio, and these are the ratios that your bank will always look at, your financial leverage ratio. So what they are and how they are calculated are all covered in the detailed course that comes with the add-on. The developer summary, on the other hand, the only thing extra in that is the cost for the developer's equity. So if you're going to put in some money that you've got sitting in the bank in your development, and you still want to charge like a 5% interest on the money that you're putting into the project, that's when you actually use the developer summary. The reason I've kept it separate is because when you show it to a lender, you don't really need to show them what your money is costing you or what you want to allow for that money in the project. So this is the add-on. This is the first Google Sheet add-on for property development financial feasibility in the world, and I'm really proud to have been able to put it together. I hope you guys like it.